Wright was complaining. He shredded the Lions. Okay, let's listen to this clip. I'm gonna get your thoughts on it and the chat. Nick Wright. By the way, love Nick Wright. This is tough. It's a tough look. Let's take a listen.
Saying they're flat out missed the playoffs, but I think they could. But I don't think they are top fringe NFC contenders. If you can get pressure on him, particularly up the middle, his lack of creativity and lack of ability to improvise is when he can become bad Jared Goff. He has been great, Jared Goff, and you deserve credit for calling it out. He deserves credit for it with the Lions. When you say Detroit Lions, one of the first things you think of is a mauling offensive line. Their biggest concern is the offensive line. A lot of guys coming back from injury. I don't know the defense is going to be great. And so I think they're an incredibly tough division. They have an incredibly tough schedule. And this is the other reason, Brew, I worry about them. You feel like they need a great start. And I say 0-3 is on the board. They have the quarterback they believe in and the head coach who is their culture setter. And that should guarantee them a floor. It still is uneasy times, in my opinion.
All right, let's just Nick Wright. Let me just. I got a lot of respect for you, Nick Wright. This is tough. I'm in a very tough position here because what you just spewed was a lot of bullshit, quite frankly. There was something actually not completely bullshit. I think some points were fair. Other points were just, you're stating the obvious. Oh, when Jared Goff gets pressure up the middle. Yeah, we know that, dude. Okay, we understand that. We understand the concern that Frank Ragnow's not there. Okay, I understand that, Boone. It's an obvious thing. You're stating the obvious. I understand it. Let's keep this consistent. Did they improve their roster from 2 years ago when they were 12-5? And we're not talking about the injured year because obviously they improved their roster. Did they improve the roster from 2 years ago? I think they're a better roster. Some of the young players are even better. Kirby Joseph, even better. Brian Branch, even better. Jahmyr Gibbs, all these guys, even better. Now, you did lose Frank Ragnow, which I think is a fair thing to bring up. I think that's a fair concern. New coordinator is fine. You can bring it up all you want. But when you talk about the defense is night and day better on paper. This defense 2 years ago when they made the NFC Championship game, there's a lot more question marks. Now, we can bring up the other side of Hutch, but I think there's a lot of things you look at this Lions team and say, yeah, the schedule's tougher, but their defense is better. Their offense has been together now, right? They're used to playing with each other. And Jared Goff, despite whatever you want to say about the guy, is playing some of his best football right now. And as much as I think the Frank Ragnow injury, could have a little bit of an effect on him, definitely, because Tate Ratledge is a rookie. I don't think there's anyone in their right mind that thinks because Frank Ragnow's not here, Jared Goff's play is going to fall off a cliff. So I think it's fine to be concerned about the Lions, but to say something like, hey, I wouldn't be shocked if they missed the playoffs is honestly, with all due respect to Nick Wright, stupidity to me. You can't, that's ridiculous. You can't, because when you talk about top teams in the NFC or in the NFL, I don't know how you don't put the Lions in that conversation. Although it's okay to be a little skeptical. Who are you putting above the Lions? Every team has question marks, dude. Most teams have question marks somewhere. But the Lions on paper, one of the best rosters. They have one of the best weapon cores in the league. They have a top 10 quarterback. They have, multiple top 5 guys at positions. Defensively, they have one of the best defensive players in the league. I don't know what else you want for this team. Dan Campbell's one of the best head coaches. I don't know. It's how do you not put this team in the top tier of the NFL? I don't get it. And maybe not the tier with the Eagles, but they're in the next tier with your Chiefs, by the way. They're in that tier. Eagles are in their own tier. So I don't want to hear it from Nick Wright. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly fine. The only thing I would disagree with, you said with all due respect to Nick Wright, you respect what he says. I do not. I do not care what Nick Wright says. I don't respect a thing that he says ever since last season. You know that I feel that way in regards to Nick Wright. He is a guy who he does a good job, I would say, with reactions in his show. That is why he is where he is today, is because he's good at getting reactions. I don't think, and Jeff, I full-heartedly believe this. I've said this to you, a couple people that we talk with that also are Nick Wright fans. I don't think that a guy like Nick Wright truly believes what he is saying. I think he spews things from his mouth, no diddy, that he completely does not believe. So the funny there, Jeff. I apologize for that. That was inappropriate. But I think I think he just says things that he doesn't believe. Like, if you really paid attention to what this Lions team has done this offseason and what their current roster looks like, guys getting, guys kind of getting older, guys learning more. We've talked about the defense yesterday. Majority of these guys, the last few seasons, are learning in the NFL still, right? Now this offseason, all these guys show up to camp, and when they get asked questions, some of the ways they answer them, they go, we're vets now. And they're in year 3, year 4, and they look at themselves as vets because they haven't. This isn't like a defense or an offensive weapons and players who have been in this organization, Jeff, that it's been a losing organization and they're still learning how to win. This is like all of these guys in this building right now that are returning and that are back. They've all won for 2 straight years. They know exactly what it takes to win, and they know what they need to do to be able to prepare. They not only know what to do to prepare, they know what not to do over the last 2 seasons and what they need to fix to be able to prepare in a higher level and a better way for this season to try and chase the Super Bowl. So, Nick Wright is completely wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm convinced that there are national media, Jeff, and I will say I think Nick Wright is one of them, that they have to cover so many football teams that they don't truly do research on the ins and outs fully of the offense, of the defense, the coordinators, what's going on in the press conferences, what's coming out of training camp. There's no way they can. They just have people that hand them a sheet of paper and say, hey, we did the notes and the stats for you. Here you go. And they just breeze over it. But they don't actually know what's going on in these training camps. The only thing Nick Wright does is he looks at analytics and stats. He looks at the schedule without actually seeing what's going on in Detroit. He doesn't even know what's going on in Green Bay, what's going on in Minnesota, what's going on in Chicago. And he just, based off of what he sees with his eyesight, off of the stats that get handed to him before the show from his analytics department, that's how he bases off his takes. It has nothing to do with the actual game of football. Because if it did, he would be right way more than he is over the last 2 or 3 years, where he is wrong like 80% of the time. So he was wrong about the Lions last year. He's going to be wrong about them this year. I've said it before, Jeff. I enjoy when the Detroit Lions have their back against the wall, especially with national media. Can you guys hear that?
No.
It was one of those tractor pulls again. But I enjoy it. I truly enjoy that this team now is, again, backs against the wall. They are no longer the darlings of the NFL media, and people aren't putting them on a pedestal as they were last season. It means these guys have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and I love it. Dan Campbell is a way better of a head coach with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know why these takes keep coming out. I mean, I know why, but I don't know.
It's hot. It gets Detroit. It gets people talking, Jeff.
Yeah, it's like this, like JT Olsen. It's not just Ragnow being gone. It's the entire interior O-line is a question mark with an OC that has a history of being too pass happy. Could be bad news for Goff. Okay. So I'll give you.
Did Nick Wright mention Frank at all?
I'm not sure. I think he talked about the offensive line being a question.
Exactly. He has no clue the ins and outs.
So I will say this. The interior O-line, yeah, I'll say that. Somewhat of a question. I think to say that they won't to say that the interior O-line will struggle, I think you have as much data to argue that as I do that they'll be good. I don't think there's much data to lean either way. I mean, Tate Ratledge has never played in Mahogany's played in 1 game. So I don't think that's even, it's not like we've seen a year of Tate Ratledge stink and Christian has stunk. I mean, the game he played really well. So that's all I have really to base it off of. And I know Graham at right guard's a better player. He's a solid player. So I think it's a fair argument, but it's not like you have a ton of data to even argue that. To be honest with you, it's more just you lost Frank, which is fair. That's fair. Whatever. I can't really argue anything against that. But yeah, there's no certainty that these guys are going to all stink. All right. The other thing I'll say is the OC being too pass happy. Why is this why do people think John Morton is going to get to Detroit, look at the best backfield duo in the league, and say, yeah, we're going to throw the ball a lot? Then he was never the right guy for the job anyway.
It's a unfair narrative and take by JT Olsen.
That would be coaching malfeasance if he goes in and goes, yeah, we're going to not give the ball to one of the best running backs in the league.
You don't think Dan talked to
him
about that as well?
Yeah. I mean, are we going off his OC job, which, by the way, I even bring up, like, he only has had one, like, OC job. I get it. But to even try and take stuff from the Jets job, it's like, well, he threw the ball a lot with the Jets. Dude, I mean, go look at the personnel the guy had on the Jets. I mean, that was like me and Boone in the backfield. I mean, what are we doing here? Of course they're going to run the ball, man.
To be fair, if I was the running back, they would have pounded the rock.
You know, I don't know what's going on with the Jets. Who knows? This is different now. If by
you don't think, can I just say, JT, you don't think that a guy like John Morton, who obviously knows what went wrong in New York, just like you're saying, you don't think over the last few seasons since he has left New York that he hasn't learned, looked back, reflected at what he did wrong, and that he's coming into a culture that has already gone to an NFC championship game, is already built, that he helped build the offense. Mind you, JT Olsen, you're saying he's not a run guy. He helped build this offense, which is run first. And you don't think that he's looking back at that and Dan's talking to him being like, hey, this is what went wrong in New York. Now I know, like I learned the last few years, learning from experience. Do you think that he's like, I'm going to do the exact same thing that got me fired in New York? Are you that naive?
I mean,
should I bring up a backbone again, JT?
No, you just say the backbone again. JT said, I don't know what he learned and did learn, but it's a narrative until he proves. Okay, that's fine.
Listen, that's a narrative, fine. But I'll tell you what, JT, I would think an NFL caliber coach, typically, listen, I've been around college coaches and they have learned from big mistakes in the amount of attention to detail college Division II coaches have. I would think that John Morton, an NFL coach, the attention to detail of being able to look back, reflect, figure out, and change things. Come on, JT. You're better than that. You know that. Come on.
Yeah, that is let me see this. Yeah, I can't get with it. I can't get with it, man. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.